What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters. Welcome to Life to Metal. Been off from work for the last 3 days. So I've been home working. Not at work, so I'm home working, right? But yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been home working and been listening to a lot of music. So I thought I'd just do a West spinning and show you a few records and CDs that I've been spinning over the last 2 days. There's quite a few, so I'm going to get right into it. First of all, we got Metal Church. This is present Wasteland from 2008, I believe. Yeah, that's a good album. I really don't think Metal Church released a really bad album. A lot of people don't like these albums. What they did with what is his name? The singer, Ronnie Monroe. Is that what it was? Yeah, you'd think his name would be here somewhere. I think it's Ronnie Monroe. In any case, I really like him. I mean, it sounds like classic Metal Church to me. You know, heavy riffs. U.S. power metal, good stuff, and quite enjoyed it. Hadn't heard it in quite some time. So, booklet here is kind of cool because it's got a whole bunch of different covers created by different fans, and they just chose the one they liked the best that ended up being on the cover, and then the other ones are on the inside. So, very cool if you're a fan to get to get your artwork on the inside of one of the booklets. I know I'd be stoked about it. I've been listening to this one a lot. I've just been in this mood to hear Heathens rage, partially because I spent some time speaking to my buddy Tony Lee the other day, and him and I were talking about old times and just chatting about music and whatnot. So this is the recent No Remorse reissue, which contains just about everything the band ever recorded in the studio. They have some live material that hasn't been released yet. Yeah, great stuff. Highly recommend this if you like that EP they put out on Rock Tunes Records back in the day. I know the thing has a big old cult status, but man, they've actually got stuff that's way better than that EP and sounds better than that EP. Definitely check this out if you get the chance. So, because it's still around, it's fairly inexpensive. Malice, New Breed of Gods with James Rivera on vocals. This is fantastic U.S. power metal. Almost gets to thrash at points, but not really. It's more of, that fast Metal Church U.S. power metal style. Very good stuff. And James Rivera is, obviously, I've said it before, one of my favorite singers. This band is a band that gets played all the time. I always, almost every week I pull one of their CDs out or one of their albums out. This is March or Die from Motorhead, and this is one of their big label releases, Epic Records, and I think it's a great album. It's got a couple of songs that became hits, if you can call anything that Motorhead put out a hit. But what was the big Hellraiser was on here, which of course Ozzy also recorded. I like them both, but I like the Motorhead one better. It's also got a cover of Ted Nugent's Cat Scratch Fever on here. In the Belgian band Acid, I've had this one on both vinyl and CD, and really like this band. Female vocalist, sounds like a lot of the stuff coming out of the new wave of British heavy metal movement at the time. This is early 80s, 82 or 83 or somewhere in that area. Looks like 82. And yeah, sounds like that, they're right along in that same vein with the British heavy metal movement. A little more of a Motorhead vibe at times. But really any of those bands in the new wave of British heavy metal movement didn't sound exactly like another band. So these guys were definitely, unique in that they were not from the UK, but they kind of had that sound right along the lines of Tank and Motorhead with a female vocalist. So I guess Girl School would be another comparison. Aerosmith 1973 bootleg. I love this thing. It sounds great. It's got early club material on it before anybody really knew who they were. They only had their first album out, so you get mostly songs from the first album, but you get Mother Popcorn on here, which is the release that they the same song they used for Live Bootleg, the official live album, some years later. It was taken from this show. Because Live Bootleg, all that is basically a compilation of live material recorded, some of it actually bootlegs, recorded on the radio and whatnot. That's what this was. This is a radio broadcast from way back in '73. Really cool album. Really cool cover of Train Kept Rolling on here too. So, of course, Train Kept Rolling ended up being on their second album. So this was previous to that. Let's see, I need to put this somewhere. Had that video I did last week of Sloppy Seconds, and just wanted to give Dio's second album a fresh spin. Man, I just really enjoyed it. So, I said in that video I wasn't really sure if it really even qualified, because I really do like it, and I just feel that the first album is so iconic. But yeah, this is just classic Ronnie James Dio. New Iced Earth. This thing is just fantastic. Incorruptible. 2-album set. This has 3 sides, which I like better that way because it doesn't have 2 songs per side. I just really have been listening to this album a lot. This one's going to be really high in my 2017 rankings, I believe, because it's just one that I've spun quite a bit. There's an instrumental on here called, let's see, Ghost Dance, Awaken the Ancestors, and I've that particular song for some reason is just really, I mean, I played that side B, is what it's on, 3 or 4 times in a row the other day just because I was so into it. Great stuff. One of their best albums in a long time, although really they haven't released a bad album in my opinion again, but it's a really good Iced Earth album if you like classic Iced Earth. Brilliant last album for vocalist Fish, who moved on to other things after this album, but a classic, you know, 80s prog album, kind of, you know, people always compare them to 80s Genesis, and when I say 80s Genesis I mean early 80s Genesis, like Duke. Yeah, you can kind of get that vibe from here, but it's not really a clone. I mean, I think it's Fish, if anything. It kind of has that similar vibe to almost to Peter Gabriel, more so than Phil Collins. But really good album from them. Quite enjoyed it. This was actually a VCLT gift from Andy's Vinyl Den, and I've been listening to it a little bit over the last few days. Love this band, speed metal after all. If I could own everything by these guys, I would. This particular album has a killer high-pitched vocalist on it. When I say high-pitched, I mean just like that speed metal sound, like remember from Agent Steel, just that screaming Deliverance, Weapons of Our Warfare, you know, right along those where it's aggressive but melodic, and he hits those high notes, and there's the low notes. It's just everything about it I like about this album, and that's what you're going to get in After All, Dawn of the Enforcer. And of course, with any good speed metal album, you have to have a cover art by what is the guy's name? Ed Repka. So it's an Ed Repka cover, front and back. Very cool. They have a new album out too. That's 2014 release, which I have heard as well, and it's very good. I actually ordered a copy. It's coming a long ways because it was never released in the United States, so I'm waiting for that to come eventually. This is more prog. This is German/UK prog. Most of these guys were from Germany. They moved to the UK, but regardless, it's just classic progressive rock. I really love Nectar, and especially this particular album. Bought it as an 8-track when I was a kid and played it to death, so I love it even now. I actually think this album was a precursor to industrial music. It's got these sound samples in it. Nobody was really doing a sound quite like this, in my opinion. And what was this, 1976 or something like that? This is the UK pressing, I believe. Yeah, Bellophone. This is a UK pressing. It's a slightly different mix than the US pressing. Same cover art, with the exception of the US version is a gatefold. The UK version is a single sleeve, with the gatefold being a poster. So you get the poster on the inside of the UK version, and then the lyrics on the other side. Now the US version is the same thing. It's got that same, you know, inner sleeve, but it's a gatefold. However, like I said, the mix is different. I think I was used to hearing the US mix, so when I first heard the UK mix, it sounded a little odd to my ears. But now I actually prefer the UK mix to the US mix. So, great album from Nectar. If you're into prog, even if you're into early industrial, check out Recycled. Great album cover as well. Deep Purple was talking to what's the name of his channel? Dang it. Anyhow, I was talking to somebody from the VC on here. It's Ron, Metal Ron, but he's got a new channel name, and I can't remember the name of his new channel. Anyhow, I was talking to him off of YouTube, and we were talking about this album, and he was saying how much he loved the guitar solo in Rat Bat Blue. And so, like, yeah, I'm going to pull that out and give it a listen. It's been a while since I've given this one a spin. Of course, the big hit on here was My Woman from Tokyo. Not one of my favorite Deep Purple songs, but definitely was a hit for them, and I like it. It's just, I like the rest of the album better. Been a long time since I heard Who Do We Think We Are. Ian Gillan on vocals, one of my all-time favorite vocalists. Overkill. And this is The Grinding Wheel, brand new album. Another one that I've been listening to quite a bit. I actually got this one as a gift on CD from somebody when I was kind of broke. And I played that CD over and over again in my car. And I put it away, hadn't heard it in a while, and I pulled it out again a few weeks ago, and it's been in my car again ever since on the CD. And I did snag a copy of this. So this is also something fairly new to my collection. I found a copy for, I think, under 20 bucks, because the reason I didn't buy it was because everywhere I looked it was 30, 32 bucks. It is a double album, but geez. So I managed to find this copy for 19 something, 19 and change plus shipping. on Amazon from an Amazon seller, and it's in pristine condition. I believe it's on orange vinyl, gatefold. And let's see, that's is that it? Oh no, last one. This was the last one I spun, and this is super exciting to me. This is the first album that'll be on my own No Life Till Metal Records label. This is Consecrator, and this is the test pressing for Consecrator. The cover art is here. That's what it is. Fantastic dragon illustration done by a guy named David Edgar, who's a very good friend of mine. And you can see this is the test pressing. And you can see the the stuff in here. There's lots of stuff in here. You can see the Erica Records test pressing. This is one of 6 test pressings. Don't know where the other 5 are, except for number 1. I know who has that. That would be Bill Lang. It would be Bill Rocks, or Bill Bafford from Rocks Records. And he has that one. I don't know where the other ones went to. Probably to the band. But it comes with, this one will come with a glossy insert photo of the band, basically an interview sheet with guitarist James Chavez, who talks about the past, present, and future of the band, and a little bit about this release. And as with most Rocks releases, there's a little write-up and the numbering of the test pressing. So there you go. Super excited about that one. If you haven't seen the video for that one, the lyric video for Meaningless, that is it's on my channel. You can check that out if you're interested in knowing what they sound like. That should be coming out in a couple months, and will go on sale for pre-order on the Rocks Records website. I do not have a No Life Till Metal website yet. We're working on it. As soon as we do it, you'll be able to get stuff there as well. But it'll be on the Rocks website. This is a split release. It's got both labels on it. And the second album on my label will also be a split release. The third album, which we're working on, will finally be on just the No Life Till Metal label by itself. So there you go. That's what I've been listening to the last few days, as well as what's spinning in the background, which is Haven 3, sitting right over here. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you've been spinning. Let me know what you think of these records. If I made any mistakes, I'm sure you guys let me know. You always do. Appreciate that. And that's it. God bless. Stay strong.